Amongst the adverse piece of information against palm oil, one relates to biodiversity, i.e., to what extent plantations and deforestation have damaged in Malaysia and Indonesia some species, most especially orang-utans. On that, the opinion and information of Michelle Desilets is very important. She's executive director of the Orangutan Land Trust because she knows the issue, and on that she can tell us something. Michelle, I've seen your interview. I know how many interesting things you have to tell us. They may be counterintuitive, but in this case, you only have a handful of minutes to tell us what's your take on that. Over to you, Michelle.
Yeah, there's a lot to say. I think the truth of the matter is that people are failing to the consumer is failing to differentiate between sustainable and unsustainable. It's quite true that unsustainable palm oil has caused devastating impacts on orangutans and the rainforest habitat. But these conspiracy theorists, or what I might call sustainability deniers, have kind of misappropriated the orangutan as a symbol to say that all palm oil kills orangutans, which is categorically untrue, and fails to recognize the fact that the very organizations, the NGOs that are working on saving the orangutan, universally support sustainable palm oil as a key strategy to preventing the extinction of the orangutan. And these NGOs are backed by science. Our NGO has the most formidable panel of scientists behind it, and these scientists are on the ground at the cross section, the intersection of the palm oil industry and the conservation of rainforest and species in places like Borneo and Sumatra. They see the reality, they do the science, and a recent report showed that the decline in orangutans, that the most significant positive strides can come about by industry or supply chains moving towards no deforestation supply chains and certification systems like the RSPO, which addressed sustainability, no deforestation. It's the NGOs that actually, are participating in these processes, like my own. We've been involved in the last two P&C reviews for the RSPO, and it's organization and currently the current one as well. We've introduced quite a lot of those criteria that address deforestation, conversion of peat, burning, the protection of species, HCB. And it needs to be remembered that the RSPO is a multi-stakeholder organization, and that these standards are not made by the industry to cover up the industry's dirty deeds. It's made by consensus amongst these stakeholder groups. So I'm going off in tangents here, excuse me. It's very early for me where I'm at. I think that what we need to communicate is where good science overlaps bad science. So the previous speaker referred to the study that showed that 35 or so years ago, the land that is now palm oil used to all be rainforest and orangutan habitat. Well, that science of this Mr. Gatti it was only a short paper. It never became a real report, and it's been since debunked. And there's bad science out there, and there's good science, and the technology is there for sensible people to review, like the Global Forest Watch. And so if the supply chain, members of the supply chain work with NGOs and scientists to get the real news out there, I think we have a chance to change the minds of those, particularly the young people who are more open to innovative ideas and positive progress, change their minds. I think those who fit into the conspiracy theorists, the sustainability deniers, they're not going to be persuaded, and I think we waste our efforts trying to persuade them. I wonder what else I can say about this. Our founder, Lone Drosha Nielsen, has rescued more orangutans than any other human on Earth. With her, I helped create what is now the largest primate rescue center in the world, an orangutan rescue center in Central Kalimantan in Indonesia. We built that center in 1998 to hold up to 100 orangutans. By the early 2000s, we had over 800, many of them victims of oil palm clearing their habitat. And it became evident to us that we had to do something about this. I have a feeling that I'm being interrupted by somebody with technical problems that to say my time is up. But the fact is that those numbers would continue to increase if we didn't sit down with the growers themselves and with the supply chain and look for solutions rather than just condemn the entire system. There's a benefit to that.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Una domanda. Nel definire gli standard e quindi nel gestire tutta la questione dell'olio di palma sostenibile, che ruolo hanno avuto le ONG e come voi vi siete sentiti come ONG coinvolti nel discorso? Quindi possiamo dire che è stato un buon esempio di come si collabora tra aziende, istituzioni e ONG.
Okay, thank you. I think the RSPO represents the best of what collaboration between NGOs and businesses and growers can look like. All of the working groups and task forces upon which I sit upon many complaints panel, biodiversity, high conservation working group, etc. No deforestation task force. They all comprise an equal representation of the stakeholder groups and social and environmental NGOs with very strong characters and outspoken people representing the larger constituency of environmental and social NGOs and thereby the rights of workers and communities and the biodiversity of this planet. They have a voice, and because decisions are based on consensus, they can't be silent. You know, you can't silence them just because a grower is worth billions and a small NGO like mine struggles to pay the rent. And it's a very positive. It's grown to be more positive. To be fair, the earlier ones were a little bit more conflicting. But I just came back from a second meeting of the P&C task force, and it was very positive, and you know, we're seeing progress.
Bene.
Every day. So
it's good to know that things keep moving, in this case for good, including thanks to the collaboration amongst many diversified stakeholders. And it's good to say that the case of palm oil can be taken as a benchmark in terms of what you can do by collaborating to have more sustainability.